Into the live because they're doing. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I'm sorry, y'all. I was trying to get it on Facebook, but y'all know how the stuff be tripping sometimes. But anywho, this is the book that we're going to be doing for the month of September, which is The Biggest Mistake Can Cost You Everything. So, welcome to the Growing Book Club. I am Dr. Crystal Lee. This is Jacob, my baby brother, also a future aspiring author. His book, y'all, will be published in the coming weeks, months. Definitely before the end of the year. He told y'all January, February, but it's changing every day. So I would encourage y'all. No later than January. Exactly. He ain't playing with us. So I remember I said October. So if y'all are wondering what we are definitely doing this month, it's going to be this book right here. And let me see. Okay, there we go. We're on there. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. I'm going to read to y'all the forward on this book so y'all can get a gist of what's happening for the month of September. And it goes like this. We all live a life of decision. When the creator of the universe gave man dominion over the earth, he did so with a few laws of order. We were made in his image, his likeness, yielding the power to use words to shape our lives. With those words, we make choices in our mind that then translate to the physical realm. What happens when we make the biggest mistake of our life? Can one decision really cost us everything? I know people ask that question. Can it really cost me everything? Yep. And I want to ask y'all the question. Has one decision cost you everything? Has it cost somebody else everything with you? I can tell you, yes, for me, I've met people that, yeah, it cost them everything. And that nothing will ever be the same, right? So that could be positive or negative. If things weren't that good to begin with and they got better, it's great. But for some people, it went from okay, good, great to not at all to non-existence to sucks. So I want to talk about that this month, right? Truthfully, life is not fair. Every day we live with the choices each of us has made, both individually or by association, that could have diverse reactions on others. In the same way that parents' choices impact their children, our choices affect our legacy. In like manner, the people we vote into Congress can make sweeping decisions that impact the nations. Then the ultimate is how the choices of Christ to live and die for humanity to be reconciled to the Almighty Creator has given his brothers and sisters in Christ access to the Almighty God. Yeah. When he died on the cross, the veil was torn, allowing believers a closer relationship with the Father. Through his act of obedience, those that have not been faithful can be saved by pleading his righteousness and sacrifice over their sins. We all love to benefit from actions we have not sown, but it can be a big challenge to bear each other's burdens when there are adverse effects. Dealing with generational curses because of a big mistake by a parent, an uncle, a relative, a friend, or a stranger can be very hard. Nobody wants to suffer because Trump is making laws we got to live with. Nobody wants to suffer because you married wrong or you dated wrong. But the truth is, they are. And we are impacting other people with our choices. Okay. We hate being accountable for what we have not done if it does not benefit us. Yet we live in a world where that happens every day. Okay. Being a part of the church doesn't excuse us from having to make big decisions and live with our choices. For those that serve Yah or God, we understand He will not force us to do anything, although He can be very convincing, right? The Father will tell you, I put before you blessings and curses. I allow you to choose today life or death. And if you don't know what to pick, choose life. So these are the ways that we can read into what he wants and expects from us, right? So we must choose to do right, even in the face of adversity, and the decisions is always ours to make. Many people in the Bible had to deal with issues, troubles, and circumstances that are not too different from what we go through today. That means what we go through today, y'all, there's nothing new under the sun. Sometimes we may feel like, oh, what I'm going through, nobody's going through, baby. Yes, they are. It just may not be people around you, but it's nothing new, and it's nothing that the Father can't help you to go through. It's nothing you can't get help to go through. And so if you feel alone, I want to encourage you, you're not alone and you're not by yourself. The choice to do right, take the righteous path, approach us all, but we all don't make the same decisions as people in the Bible do. Then to be fair, we can make the same decisions and get two different outcomes or consequences, right? There are people in the Bible that could do stuff we could never do, or you can't do. There's stuff people in your family can do, and for some reason they have a level of mercy and grace that may not quickly be extended to you. And I want you to know, yes, it is unfair, but there's also blessings that come with that too. Um, if your mind was in trouble before, it might be now because there are differences among children in the kingdom of God. King David's grace, you may notice, is not yours. Job's challenge wasn't yours. You didn't lose your children, but you may have felt the test cost your mind. Noah's favor may not be yours either. Some of us can't look at liquor without our world crumbling, right? Noah was a person that enjoyed drinking, and it didn't cost him his position with God. And so some of us, it costs us our position in our marriages, our families, our parenting. It can cost us our jobs. It can cost us God because we worship that more than God and we don't serve him anymore. So how is it? Jealous God. We do. And he cares about the things you care about. Mm-hmm. So many believe drunks are not good for much more than they can supply, but God started creation over with a drunkard's family. So some of the things that we may say is impossible. The Bible also writes what's impossible for man to do is possible for Yah or God to do. So I've noticed that as we journey with Yah or God, we may falsely assume his power is ours. Sometimes circumstances give us a false sense of power. We might start with a humble beginning, but then something happens in us that makes us believe we have outgrown humility. Like King Saul, he thought he outgrew having humility. But in outgrowing humility or coming from underneath the umbrella of the Father's righteousness and protection, he walked into a whole world that he was not ready for. Consider this. Can we ever actually pull off the concept of outgrowing our master? Can we become wiser than our teacher? Samuel was the prophet that anointed Saul, making him king of the Hebrews. He was the first king and represented the heart of the people. He was also a token of how fickle Yah's people were towards him. They loved him when they were low and want and downtrodden in society. When they were the underdog, Yah smiled and showed favor to them. They realized their limitations caused them to need God. Some argue faith is only good for the weak and the poor, but do you believe that? Do you believe that the only reason you need God or you need, to know the one that created it all, the creator of heaven and earth, is because you are broke, poor, or downtrodden? This logic of the poor being the only ones that need God couldn't be further from the truth. And I want to tell you why in this book. Many believe, although they wouldn't admit it, love they love help when they're down. Yet something happens when certain people get money or rise above their circumstances. Some say they show their true colors they always had. Others would say they fell victim to the power of fame. This fact remains: the rich, the poor, the first and the last are capable of making choices that in reality could cost them everything. All of us go through these tests. All of us go through these trials. Not just men, not just women, not just young, old, poor, or rich, right? There are mistakes we can make that will alter our lives forever. We tend to think I can make this mistake one time and do better the next time, but can you or anybody afford to be so sure? Sometimes even the first time can be the biggest mistake that can cost you everything. And so this is ultimately the forward that kind of steps you into the book. Just a little bit of the inside of the book in the format. It looks like this. And I'm going to have Jacob read some of this so I can give my voice a break because y'all know you can go horse on these lives. And I don't want to do that because we got all month to read from this book. So he's going to read some. I'm going to pick around in this chapter because the chapters, just to give y'all an idea, they start on page 10, and this chapter will go until about page 19. Okay. This is the introduction. Okay. And then after you get through the introduction, that's when we start getting into really the meat and potatoes. But I want to set the precedent, okay? Because some things can cost you everything. As y'all know, there are 3-strike laws in the legal system, but not everybody gets 3 strikes. Some people get charged as an adult and they're still a minor. So these things are happening all around us. And so this is talking about how those things are happening and honestly how no one can afford really to make a mistake that could cost you everything. Although we will make mistakes, the key is what's in place to keep you from losing everything. And that's the biggest thing I want to show y'all today because everybody in the Bible made mistakes. Everybody did. The Bible says, you show me a man, you'll show you someone who what fell from, what is it in Galatians? It says, all have fallen short of the glory of the Most High. That's the verse, okay? So I want to encourage you, if you have done some things or Others have done things to you. It's not the end of the world. Yes, it hurts. It does. And it is a journey to get back in line, but it is possible. So I'm going to let Jacob start reading and I'm going to be quiet.
It's all right.
All right, Jay, it's on you.
In the United States, many are familiar with the first time offenders program. It is no secret that some first time offenders appear to receive very different treatment or outcomes than others. Arguably, so many people of color tend to get harsher punishments on their first offense compared to other nationalities. We have all heard of accounts where young black men were charged as adults, even though they were minors when they committed the offense. It is fair that the treatment of one is not the treatment of all. Some judges will argue if the punishment is too light, the offender will learn their lesson. With a mindset like this, they judge and others who think like him can justify giving longer terms for non-violent crimes. Y'all should get this book because I already read it. These defendants may be on their first charge. Their crimes might be non-violent, and yet they are receiving 5, 10, 50, or even 20 years. Others are being arrested alive after killing children, teenagers, or the elderly, and the punishment are lighter than those who have non-violent crimes. Many have come to realize that when their son, daughter, mother, or father goes to jail or prison with time to be served like this on a first offense, life isn't fair. I know of people who were handcuffed as soon as the police arrived because they were perceived to be a threat before an interrogation even
Ensued.
into like these days though the African American males they are like a target against the laws, you know.
Mhm.
So and it's crazy that your skin color people have bad judgment on it. It's crazy though, you know.
Yeah, and I'm gonna step you out through the next few paragraphs because this is actually a true story for someone I do know. And what happened was he and his girlfriend was having an altercation. As far as she wanted him to do something, he didn't want to do it. She got mad, threw something at him, and so he made her leave the room. And in exchange for him making her leave the room, I don't know how her stuff got outside. I don't know if he put it outside or she put it outside, but it was outside. And so when the police came, they assumed the worst. They assumed he had like strangled her and all kinds of crazy stuff that did not happen. They still arrested him. They came in like SWAT, like startled everybody who didn't even know there was a problem. His mom and dad were downstairs because he was visiting from out of town, staying with his parents, temporarily for the vacation. And that turned into him getting arrested, charged for like battery or something or assault. The girl, of course, had no visible markings on her neck or anywhere that she claimed happened. By the time it went to trial, because it had to go this far, y'all. By the time it was actually scheduled, he could not leave the state. He had to honestly figure out how to support himself. He had to face the $5,000 bail. And all of this happened. And then the girl came and said she wanted to drop the charges, but the state disagreed with her dropping the charges. And then when they went to go and interrogate her to figure out if she was lying, all of her story was falling apart, but they were still trying to hold his money or try to hold him on probation. Okay. So none of this stuff was fair. And if he did not have the money to have a lawyer to lawyer his position, he would have had to take a plea deal like a lot of people are doing when they were completely innocent and it is completely fair. And choosing the wrong woman would have been the essence of what sparked this crazy flame that for some of y'all, it's costing you everything. You become a felon instantly. You become a person that everybody assumes is violent, even though you know you weren't violent. Try to explain that to somebody's dad. Try to date again when they see battery on people are pulling these things up and checking you out before you date their daughters or want to marry them. And now you could honestly lose out on the right woman because you settled for a crazy one who you knew a long time ago wasn't good for you. It's in the book. So we're going to skip the next few paragraphs because that's what it's talking about. But yes, this is a true story, son of encouragement. I kid you not. And guess what? That man still dated this woman when he went back home. Now tell me that ain't the dumbest decision of your life. But this is stuff that's happening. Okay.
That's
I
correct.
have people telling me, Crystal, please mentor me. Crystal, coach me. I want to get married. I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, read this book if you're a man, and it's going to help you. And now I have another one coming out that will actually include my husband. He's going to be co-authoring a book with me before the end of the year for male mentorship. Okay. So if you honestly are looking to transform your life, start with this book. I kid you not. Please, please, please.
Hey, I say,
Start with this
hey,
book.
it blessed my life.
Start with this book. I kid y'all not. And then after this book, I'm going to talk to y'all about the next one that I'm going to bring out towards the end of the year, because honestly, it will help men change their lives and make better decisions that won't cost them everything. Okay. So we're going to skip through this. Nope, we're not going to do that one. Yeah, no, I just talked about him having finances to fight it. Although this appears to be an unfair or jaded topic of many recent years, we must discuss how many mistakes can morph into the biggest mistake that could cost you everything. No one thinks about the consequences of getting caught for an offense more than the benefits. Many who decide to break into a person's home and steal their property don't dwell on getting caught. Let me tell y'all who this was. This was a real story too. Another man that I know in my life, family member on top of that, he decided to be with the wrong crowd. He was not one of the persons that actually had a weapon or even did the robbery, but he was there. Okay. Sometimes you are hanging around the wrong people that will cost you everything. They don't mind you going down with them. They don't mind blaming you if something goes wrong. They don't mind if they sell you out. They are not there to protect you. They are there so you can be the scapegoat so they can go out and do it again. Okay? Do not allow these people to run your world. Do not allow these people to honestly linger in your life longer than you know they should be there. When you tell them, hey, look, this is over, our friendship is dead, you need to let that be dead, dead. Because some of us are resurrecting things that honestly was dead, is dead, need to stay dead, and we're talking ourselves out of it, right? And that is the biggest mistake that could cost you everything.
Right.
Wrong friends, wrong atmosphere, wrong time. How many of us have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it cost us everything? I had another friend, he was racially profiled against. He looks like, I guess, every black man that's committing crimes. He has been arrested because he fit the profile of someone else at least 5 times. Five. And when he says that's not my name, he shows his ID, they still arrest him anyway. And then he has to go through the whole process. You know how tormenting that is to be constantly profiled because you fit a description? I don't know if y'all seen that social media post where the young girl fit a description of a woman that robbed something like 2 blocks away, and she was a minor. And so they're arresting a minor for a grown woman's offense who was wearing a total different outfit, had a total different description, but because she looked threatening and they didn't even know her age, she was like 15 years old, y'all. So I want to encourage y'all. And that was the biggest mistake that officer could have done, because now the girl is going to be afraid to call the police that may honestly could save her life someday. Or what I'm saying. So we don't know how our decisions and the decisions of other people can ripple in our lives and cause these problems. There are communities that need police officers but don't trust them, so they never call. And there are people going through abuse every day, thinking that there is no escape. Right? And I'm talking men and women. And so I want to encourage you that the decisions we make or don't make can cost us everything. And this book is not an exhausted version. This is still the introduction, y'all. So yeah, there's a whole lot more in the book, and I want to make sure we have time to get to it because it's really, really, really a good book, y'all. Um, this one right here, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. These are real stories. So I went to traffic court out in some little small town in Georgia. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I was on my way to Florida coming in, and it was, I can't remember the city, but it's down there, y'all. It's the last city or the first city coming in Georgia from Florida or leaving. And I kid you not, I had to go to court to show them that a U-Haul couldn't go 90 or 80 miles an hour because they thought it was me. I said no, it was that really nice Camaro or whatever that was around me that was speeding. And of course, they did drop the charges of my ticket. However, while I was in there, I saw several people going in there for petty theft. I mean, like stealing out of Walmart, like video games, like I kid y'all not, underwear, like simple things that honestly go work. The biggest mistake is to take something and think it cost you nothing when it cost you everything. Some of them got misdemeanors. Some of them almost got felonies from stealing because the amount of the stuff they stole was almost past the amount of petty crime. Can you imagine Walmart giving you a felony? Walmart, y'all, Walmart, Target, y'all.
Crazy,
This is
it's
crazy.
crazy.
These babies are throwing their lives
It's
away
like
for some video games
over like a $50 product.
over a $50 product. Like you
It's
can't get
crazy,
a
man.
job in some places if you got a misdemeanor or a felony or something like that. Your credit is being pulled to get a job. So if you're out here going bananas and burning your credit and crazy stuff, this stuff backfires.
Yeah.
It backfires, and it could be the biggest mistake that could cost you everything. Some people are checking your credit before they decide to marry you because they want to know, can y'all work together? Can you buy property together?
Oh,
Can you know what I'm saying? Can
yes.
they put you on their bank account? They can if you got all these judgments because they're
Yeah.
gonna draft who's ever. That is a marital problem. Y'all can't come together because he got
Right.
or because she got credit card debt that she won't stop buying purses. Like she doesn't have a filter. So now because she doesn't have the ability to control her finances, it's costing her a marriage.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. You know, sometimes we don't think our mistakes are really that big of a deal. Oh, well, yeah, I have bad credit, but it's not that big of a deal. Is it? Is it though? You
Like,
can't get an apartment in your name.
right.
You can't live on your own. That
Right.
is a problem. So now you have to live off of people or with people, which robs you of your manhood because you got to stay with your girlfriend or your fiance. How long are they going to allow you to do that before they say, no, in a marriage, I feel like I should come live with you? And you're like, well, I can't come live with me because I can't get an apartment, or I can't buy a house. How do you explain those things, right? And so I want to encourage you. Hey, OYM, thank you for following too. Thank y'all. I want to encourage y'all. This book right here is made honestly for more men than even for women. It's made for women because we all make mistakes that could cost us everything.
Right.
But I kid you not, there are things in this book that there's differences between men and women. I mean, people will say, oh, we're the same. No, you're not. Not by anatomy, not by responsibility. There are different things going on in our worlds and in our lives. And I want to encourage y'all that you want to look at yourself, you want to look at these things again. Okay. If you want to get married, look at that woman again. Because there are Delilahs out here that will have you lay your head in her lap when she already has picked out a great crime for you. Some of these women are tricking y'all out your money. Some of them are waiting to put their name on your bank account or for you to give them a credit card that they can't wait to spend and let you figure out how to pay it. And if you don't know how to go to people's court or Judy or somewhere and get your money back, you're left with that debt.
Right.
Some of y'all are getting women cars, buying women, yes, buying your ex's cars and all, saying that they'll pay for it. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times they won't. Some of y'all are giving rings to women. You know you shouldn't have gave her a ring in the first place.
See,
Now you're asking for the ring back and she won't give it back. She
flush
won't
it down the
pawn it.
toilet. She flushed down the
She ain't
toilet.
flushed down the dang toilet. That girl pawned that thing. She got money. She would be an idiot not to. Why would you flush a dang ring? No, you pawn it. That's what people do. They pawn things. Okay, they resold that purse you gave them for 5,000 because they never really liked you.
Mark
Is it
Jacobs.
fair? No, it's not. But what you need to do, you need to learn to value yourself because not valuing yourself is the biggest mistake that
Okay,
can cost you
everything.
everything. Okay? So yes, there are mistakes you are making, and the biggest ones are not the ones necessarily that directly impact your finances, but it's the ones that impact your life, okay, and your future. Having children with the wrong person will cost you everything.
Facts.
Child support, court systems, can't talk, can't
That's
walk
why.
together, can't plan an event,
That's why.
can't have a birthday party without
That's
somebody cussing somebody
that's
out.
why I'm waiting about 10, 15 years.
I'm telling you, be patient. I know some of y'all are
Uh,
saying, I really want to get married, Lord. I'm tired of waiting. I'm just going to pick somebody. All right. People who I mentor or they want me to be a part of their lives, and I don't mind. I had a brother tell me, this man is like a whole Hebrew Israelite. Now, I'm not that, but I can understand for people who want to walk that way. I understand you, and I can talk on your level. He tells me, Crystal, at this point in my life, I don't even care if she's saved. I said, the devil is a liar. Why would you build up? Why would you let the Father build you up so strong? Like you're so strong. And then you'll turn around and let those words come out of your mouth. You will settle for a woman that will be a serpent. You just asked for Delilah. So here I am canceling stuff in the spirit from my friend, from my brother. I'm like, yo, don't you ever say some stuff like that. You better not say it around me because I'll rebuke you and them. Okay? Get behind you, Satan, because that is insane. But see, this is the stuff that men and women are doing to themselves. That ain't the devil that said that. It was him. And so that's the biggest mistake that will cost him everything. Let a woman in your life who don't mean you no good and let see how fast she tear up your whole world. And it's not because she could do it's because you allowed her to do it. You asked her in your life. Stop asking for people to come into your life that you don't want in your life. You need to tell the Father what you want and what you need. And sometimes you need to tell the Father, I don't know. Lord, send me what I need because it may be a job. It may be education. It may be patience. It may be time. It may be all these other things. And you got to allow the Father to do that thing. My husband has been single for 13 years. And I was like, how did you do that? He said it was easy because what I was looking for, I didn't find it. Some of y'all need to know what y'all looking for. The Bible says when a man findeth a wife, he finds a good thing. Not a woman, not a thought, not a stripper, not a prostitute, not a in between thing, not a cuppy. You know what I'm saying? Some of us are settling for these other things, and then when the real woman comes, we're locked up with crazy. And now we can't tell the real one that we can't date her because we don't know what this one's gonna do. Is she gonna pop up or put a crazy message on your Instagram or pretend like y'all still together and y'all ain't been together in forever? You see? So don't create these relationships or give room to them because they will be the thing that could cost you everything. It could cost you relationships, money, time. Some of these women are walking in on your job trying to sabotage you and take everything from you. Some women are bold and crazy. They want everything. If they can't have you, nobody can. And they really believe this crazy stuff. So stop allowing these women to have root in your lives. Stop thinking it's cute because it's not cute. It's not cute when it costs you everything. It's cute when you think you're getting out of it what you want. But it's not cute when you realize it came with a penalty. See, that's what the enemy does. He tricks us into believing his gifts are good, but they always come with repentance. It always comes with you being disappointed because the devil is a liar. So you got to look at how people treat you. And if they lying, you need to pay attention to that because it matters. It really does. And you don't want to ignore their lies. Like Samson knew Delilah was lying. She didn't even lie, y'all. She was telling him, I need to know, and you lying to me. But she told him. So you got to pay attention to the women or to the men for ladies that you have in your lives because they tell on themselves. Okay. So I want to encourage y'all. This book right here is straight power. If you are looking, if you need it, get the book. If not, come every Monday and come to this, come to the book
You'll
club.
change your mind.
This will change your mind. All right. So that is the introduction. Let me make sure I ain't missing nothing else because we only got 4 weeks, y'all. There are 5 pivotal sections in the book. Okay. So just to give y'all an idea, there are, oh no, there are one, two, three, four. There are four, five. There are 5 sections, 4 real sections in this book. Okay. And each of these sections come with 2 chapters. Okay. So there are 8 real chapters, 9 if you include the follow at the end, which of course is a story of Paul. And I'm going to do a second book to this series because it was still more I wanted to say that I didn't have room to say. Because this book is crazy. So in the next one, it's called The Biggest Mistake. No, The Biggest Decision Can Make You Anew. So it's bringing this full circle. All right. But in Kings, which is the first section in this book, which is what I want to get into tonight, just to make sure I'm going to give y'all the meat and potatoes of this book so y'all will know why you want ultimately to check out this book. Um, I don't know what that is. I'm not a stud, honey. I don't even know if you're on the right page. But I'm gonna go ahead and mute you because I don't like distractions.
Wait, what?
All right. But anywho, no, not that one. All right, there you go. All right, so that'll help you out, okay? So, all right, back to the book at hand. All right, so if y'all with me, y'all can throw up hearts, like, shares. Thank y'all. I love y'all much. So this right here, Kings. This is on page 20 in this book. All right, we gonna go there, and then I'm gonna we gonna speed a little bit so I can get y'all through it. All right. So your sections are look like this. Kings just welcomes you here. This is how it works. This is page 21. Saul's appointment with destiny could not start without him first proving he could be obedient. All right. Thou shalt obey your mother and father was God's instruction in the 10 Commandments handed to Moses for him to share with God's people in Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. What we may not realize is following God's commands or commandments sets us up for his rewards. To be used by Yah, we have to understand obedience is greater than sacrifice, as recorded in 1 Samuel 15:22. When the Lord gives his orders, it is not up to us to consider if we agree before we obey it. When the Father tells you, hey, no, I don't really like that for you. And you're like, well, Lord, but look at it, though. It don't really look that bad. I didn't ask you what you thought. Sometimes we think we see further than he does, right? And so our trust is not fully in his decisions, but it's in our feelings. Because it's not in our knowledge, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. So how can we say what people are capable of, right? And this is what the Father wants us to trust him in, is faith is the currency of heaven. Faith is believing in things that is not yet as if they already were. This one's done yet. I'm going to do this one at the end, as if they already were. But if you are operating in faith, that means you got to trust the Father. You cannot lean on your own understanding, but we live off every word from the living word or from the bread of life. So these are the things we should be meditating on day and night. But the question is, are we really doing that? All right. So, have you realized that as children, our parents teach us the foundations of life? They help us to set boundaries and teach the simplest things, like how to walk, eat, and when to go to sleep. Sometimes we learn the importance and master the lessons, and sometimes we don't realize until we are much further in life. As a youth, you can probably eat anything you want without gaining a pound. When you get older, you find out unhealthy eating habits will lead to a plethora of problems not seen at the inception of a thing. So as we get older and as we mature, we start to realize, oh snap, I can't eat French fries every day because guess what? I have clogged arteries and I'll have a whole lot more problems. Unlike when we are younger. So when we are young and we start getting away with things, we start assuming that, oh, God must not mind, or oh, this must not be a real problem. Oh, I can still keep doing this because God will stop me. But what if he already is stopping you? What if he's already giving you the warning flag? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't think like that. You need to change your mindset. You need to learn to work. You need to learn to do this. But if we are ignoring those yellow signs, that's when you hit the red ones, and that's when you can ultimately make the worst decisions of your life, right, and of our lives. Um, there is a little bit more about that there, and then I want to jump into King Saul though. So what we do learn from doing these seemingly small tasks. What can a CEO learn from being a person at the bottom? I believe you get the building blocks for a strong foundation. I think it does add to what you understand about the entire business at hand. You also know what it means to start from an entry level position to better relate to others or find solutions. I don't know if many of us know, but the best people to launch businesses and to grow companies are people who are solution driven. People that become entrepreneurs are people that can spot a problem, but also have a solution to a problem that is in demand. So if you want to start a business, those are your core concepts already. You need to find a problem that people want to solve right now, and it is in demand, and then provide yourself to be that solution, whether you're providing a product, service, or information to solve something like that. Okay. And in doing so, how do you get to that point? You got to start at the bottom. But a lot of us want to be at the top. A lot of us want to be the manager. A lot of us want to be the CEO. But in order to be the best CEO, you need to understand your product the best so that you can position it the best and you can know that it works in the market and it has a market to begin with. The worst thing you can do is invest all your money and time into something nobody wants or cares to solve. There are many problems, but do people want to solve it? Is the question. King Saul was no different. He had to pay his dues, and that started with searching for donkeys. Yes, before he became king, he was searching for donkeys working on a farm. King David was a lot the same. Before he became King David, that ruled over both kingdoms and all this stuff, he first started off with ruling over sheep. He ruled over sheep. He had to fight a bear, he had to fight a lion, he had to fight a wolf. He had to protect sheep. And for some of you, you might get bored of these simple tasks. You might get bored of having to take the trash out or having to cut grass or shovel snow when you're younger. But these things make you a great husband. They teach you how to be a great father because now you teach your sons to do the same thing and they know how to be a gentleman to their wives. They know how to teach their daughters you don't got to do everything. And if you do get a husband, how they should be able to take care of you. But for some of us, we didn't have those things, right? So those mistakes could cause us to accept men that are beneath what we should really accept. It could have men accept women that are not even biblical. Like they're not even trying to live like you. They're not even trying to submit to you. In fact, they want you to submit to them. There are, there are women out here that want you to change your name. How do you feel about that? How many of y'all men would do that? Would y'all change? Would you change your name for your wife?
No.
No. I don't know.
What?
There are women out here that want their husbands to change their names for them.
They probably man themselves.
Ooh, he said they probably men themselves. We ain't gonna say that out loud too hard because I know some women that honestly feel that way and they are married to a man that won't change their name. But anyway, but she's brilliant, she's amazing, and I love her. So yeah, I want to encourage y'all. You got to know what you value and pick people that can honestly step into agreement with you. If you want to build something that will last, you got to have team players that want to build it with you. If you're building a business, you need people that can see your vision, right? The Bible says, write the vision and make it plain so that other people can pick it up and run with it. Not you. You should know it, yes, so you know how to lead people. But other people need to be able to pick it up from you and say, yes, I want to go where you're going. And that means your wife needs to be able to pick up what you're putting down and say, I'm going to follow you. I'm going to submit to you. But if she can't see something in you to submit to, it's going to be really hard for her to be able to do what you want her to do. Right? And for women, it's going to be really hard for a man to love you when they don't see what they're looking for in you. I know that sucks to hear that, right? They may see so many things. They may think you're beautiful. They may say you're smart, but for some reason, something they're looking for, they did not find in you. So it's hard for them to fall in love with you. I can tell y'all, me and my husband, we met a month ago at an event, and I didn't even find him. My son did. And in that searching, he was single for 13 years, y'all. And I asked him, I said, how can you be so sure about me in a week, y'all? It happened in a week. He asked me to marry him. So 1 week. So for some people, when they tell me, girl, I've been dating this man for 7 years and he won't marry me, I'm looking at them like, that's not a problem for you? I mean, I don't know about you, but are you dating to just be dating or are you trying to get married? Because if you're not trying to get married, then I have nothing to say because it's what you want. But if you're saying you want to be married, then why are you dating people, meaning courting people that don't want to ever get married? It doesn't make any sense. So you're setting yourself up for failure. You need to be honest with yourself and honest with them, and they need to do the same with you. And if they are, you need to listen. Sometimes we don't want to listen because we don't want to hear what they're saying because it's not what we want to agree to, right? So you got to come into agreement with what's in the reality, not just what you hope for, but what is there. Yes, we have faith in God. We don't put our faith in man. He doesn't tell you to put your faith in man. He says, look at the seed they bear. Look at what they're doing instead. Pray for them, but don't ignore what you're seeing. Don't ignore what you feel. Don't ignore what you think. Don't allow people to make you feel like a fool and like you know what I'm saying? Like you can't add 1 + 1 is 2. Like they say, if it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, baby, it's a duck. Even though it says it's not a duck. Oh no, I'm a swan. No, you're not. You a duck because you don't fit. Okay. All right, y'all know how to do these things. All right, so I'm gonna try to help. I'm trying to read the book, y'all. So there's more in this. All right. One of the things I want to point out to y'all is what a donkey symbolizes because it's some really good stuff. All right. The donkey is reported or talked about in the Bible many a times. What I love about it, the animal is also a symbol of peace, industry, and wealth. Donkeys are the beasts chosen by Yah to demonstrate humility and trust and mark epic moments in life. Abraham used the donkey in Genesis 22:3 to travel with him and Isaac to where he was supposed to sacrifice his son. Abraham got up early in the morning to saddle his donkey, a small act, yet one of obedience to the Lord in order to offer Isaac up to God. The text would have read very differently if the intent and purpose of Abraham hadn't loaded up a donkey but a horse to go and sacrifice his son. As we know, horses are meant to battle. Some of us are honestly gearing up in the wrong ways. Like we are preparing, but we are preparing amiss of what we are wanting to accomplish, right? Sometimes we say, Lord, I want a loving marriage. I want a loving communication. I want an open door policy. I want someone to trust me. But you are setting up like you are about to go to war with this person. And yet you expect them to want to open up and blossom and be comfortable with you. And then when they tell you, hey, I don't really want to talk about that, you're like, talk to me. That's not how you're going to get them to talk to you. Okay. If somebody says, I don't really want to talk about this right now, or I don't feel comfortable, the way to get them to talk to you is not slapping them into submission, okay, or slapping them into agreement, okay? It's about saying, you know what, I hear you. Clearly you're hurt, or clearly there's something else going on. And if right now you're not ready to talk about this, let me know when we can come back to this. And guess what? You know what you just did? You just poured water on these hot coals. And now this brother is like, you can hear? Oh my goodness. Women,
Men don't want to fight you. They don't want to fight you. The one that wants to marry you wants to love you instead. You have to make it easy on them to love you. Some of y'all make it hard for somebody to love you. They got to be like, girl, I love you so much. Don't you understand? They don't want to do that every day. I didn't want to do that anymore. That's why I ended up, calling off my marriage before, because that's the way he wanted to communicate. And I did not want to do that. I'm not going to argue with you every day. I am not going to beg you to see things from my point of view. You don't got to agree with me. That's okay. Some of you have to learn to understand they won't always agree with you and be okay with that. But what you should not be okay with is somebody ignoring you, somebody dismissing you, or someone disrespecting you. You don't have to do that for someone to be in a relationship with you. And if that is happening, that is not what you should be accepting, whether you're a man, woman, young, old, or any of that, because that is not the design for you. And now, if it's something you learn to accept, and that's one thing. But I want to encourage you to rethink that, because the way you will accept someone to treat you is the way that they will honestly treat you. So if you don't check nobody, they'll keep running over you because they'll say, "Oh, she's cool with it." You may not really be cool with it, but you don't know how not to be, right? So you got to establish your voice. You got to let people know. And establishing your voice does not mean you got to scream. I know people will say, "Oh, you got to get loud." No, you don't. You know what I used to do? I get real quiet and I just do this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. Uh-huh. And they're like, "Are you really feeling me? Are you feeling me, Crystal?" Yeah, I feel you. But why are you not as crazy? Why you don't sound as crazy as, because I'm not going there. I don't go there. You see what I'm saying? Because the biggest mistake is for me to say something I don't mean, and now I gotta live with it. Some of y'all have said words out of your frustration to people that you never intended to hurt or to damage, and now the work is done, and now you're trying to convince them you didn't mean it, but they don't believe you because you said it. So the way to handle conversations and situations is you got to learn to calm yourself down. You got to learn to breathe through other people's chaos, because it'll make them do one or two things. It'll make them shut up. It'll make them get angrier. It'll make them leave, or it'll make them want to fight. If they want to leave, you let them. If they want to fight, you tell them, "Look, hey, I'm not gonna fight you. You ain't gonna hit on me. I'm not gonna hit on you." That's a reason to know that that person is not for you. Somebody that gotta beat you to for you to listen to them, or for them to feel like you listening, not your spouse. That is not. If you want a godly thing, if you want a healthy thing, if you want somebody who's not toxic, if they got to do those things to get your attention or to keep you focused or to keep you, wrong guy, wrong woman, not for you. Okay. In case if somebody needs to tell you, I'm telling you. Okay, it's not. Obviously, it's your choice. Can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you that's what I did. When I had to fight you verbally or just feel like I got to defend myself like a bird or a boxing bird or something, I ain't doing that. Because that's burning your energy. Y'all could have been spending that time talking about something, laughing about something, having fun. You need to find your best friend. And some of y'all are not picking people that could even be your friend. You pick people that you only want to go home to. And then when you're home, you don't want to be there. That's not good. Okay. And that will cost you your peace of mind. And that is everything. Okay. If you can't go home and have peace, that's a problem. All right. So I'm going to encourage y'all to look at your decisions, look at the people that you are allowing into your life, because it will cost you something. It could also bring you something. It could bring you goodness, happiness, joy. These things allow you to accomplish more in business, accomplish more in your life, brings more fun. It brings longevity. It makes you want to live longer because you have something and someone to live with and for. So don't misunderstand. It might be pretty to look at them, but if it is not, the Bible says a leaking faucet, a resounding gong. It's like how people sound when they constantly nag and complain and drag your life down. You don't need people like that in your life all the time.
Complain is worship the enemy.
Yes, it is. Complaining, doubting is to people that can't believe in you becoming great. That's a problem. If you telling this woman your dreams, or she's telling you her dreams, and you don't want to listen, or you won't support them, you won't buy their book or buy a makeup or whatever they're making. You won't help them stay up at night sometimes to figure out an algorithm or figure out TikTok or whatever they got going on. You got to ask yourself the question: why are you not willing to be there for them when someone else would? And the question, should someone else do that for them and not you? That's an honest question. Some people are not for you. Some people you don't want, and that's not a problem. It's not a problem to say you don't align with someone. It doesn't make you a bad guy or them. It just means that's not the person you're looking for. But you got to be honest and say if that is the case, so you know how to move on. Okay. All right. There's more in this book, y'all, but as y'all know, time is winding on down. So we do stop the live at around 8:30 to 8:35. So if y'all have questions, you can put them on the live. I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm gonna make sure I'm on there in case y'all got questions. I know on some of these apps they don't allow us to see y'all questions, so I apologize. But yeah, so I know a lot of my people on Facebook isn't on today because this thing was tripping. But I will repost it later if y'all do follow me on Facebook. Another thing, we learn patience when our power doesn't improve the situation or hurry it along, but we have to wait and go through it. I love how Gary Washington writes about trusting God as we go through in his latest book. You can check it out. When babies are newborns, you can yell or encourage them to be quiet, and it won't work sometimes. Have you ever tried to scream at a baby and the baby just look at you like, that, and they just start screaming anyway, right? Because what you're doing doesn't work.
Right.
And so when what you're doing is not working, the question is, what is your recourse? Right? Do you keep doing the same thing and get no results? That's the definition of insanity, by the way. Albert Einstein said it is insane to do the same thing habitually and expect a different result when the first time it did not work. That means you got to adjust. That means you got to make changes. If your previous relationships didn't work the way you communicate, maybe you need to do something different. Maybe it was the person you picked. Maybe it was how you picked them. Maybe it was how you dated them. Maybe it was how you talked to them or how you appreciated or didn't appreciate or how you supported them. Maybe it was not you and it was them. But the question is, what are you doing to change your outcomes so you're not looking and living insane, right? Nobody wants to be crazy, but the right person is out there for you if you want to find them. The question is, are you willing to make the adjustments to be suitable for that person? And I'm not talking about changing the core elements of you. I'm talking about being the better version of you so that when they need you or when you need them, you can both stand together, walk together, and agree, right? You do need to be able to come into agreement with somebody. They do need to be able to communicate with you, even if they don't agree. And then you both can have a adult or honest conversation and say, hey, look, you know what? Maybe you can do, I'm going to let you take the lead on this. I don't completely agree, but I like what you're saying. I love you, boo. So I'm going to do it your way. Sometimes that's what you say. And then you let it work out. But guess what? This is how you know healthy relationships. Everybody's going to make mistakes, y'all, right?
Right.
In this book, I talk about the mistakes of both people. But then there are those that can grow through mistakes. This is the power. This is the goodness. These are mistakes that don't cost you everything. These are the mistakes that grow your relationships, that empowers you, that allows your marriage to be stronger, that allows you to understand how God can be provider, that shows you how your husband is really supportive of you, or your wife is, or how your parents really do have your back when you really need them most, or how your staff really does care about your product or service, and it's not just a job to them. So you have to allow people to make mistakes and to learn from them. Because as you give them room to grow, you start to allow them to build a relationship with you that is stronger than petty stuff. And it allows you to build a deeper relationship with them that you want to cultivate. Some of us don't allow our relationships to cultivate because we're too busy cutting off good people because they're not perfect. No one's perfect. If I would have,
Nobody perfect.
so even with me, I had a checklist, right? We all do, yeah, right? I don't smoke, okay? But my husband does. And I'm just like, Lord, if I was my old self, I would have been like, nope, wrong, not the right guy. He smokes. Mm-mm. But you know what I said? I said, you know what, Lord? This is his extra. Because the question is, will I give up 99 because I don't like one thing about him? And to me, smoking wasn't that tremendous. Now, I do care about his health, though. So I just prayed about it instead. I was like, Lord, you know what? I'm going to pray about this. I'm not going to ride on him. I'm not going to complain or tell him my thoughts about the medical side of it and make him feel any kind of way. I'm going to just take it to the Lord because that's what real spouses do. We take it to the Lord. We'll tell them our honest opinions because you should. But then after that, you take it to God, right? And so I took it to God. And do you know what he told me today?
What was it?
He was like, babe, I'm going to stop smoking. No arguing, no fighting, no cussing, No awkward moments, no fighting, no none of that. It was all love, y'all. It was all love. You can have relationships that are all love, where you're like, you know what, Lord, I'm bringing this to you because I love him and I want him to be healthy. I want him to live with me. I want him to be around and be healthy. And so the Father knows my heart. He knows his heart. I didn't have to beg him. I didn't have to manipulate him. I didn't have to threaten him with holding stuff back. Y'all know what I mean? I didn't have to do any of those things. I didn't even have to ask. Now that's good. I didn't even have to ask y'all. So when you are in the right position, the Father is speaking to both of you. And guess what? Iron sharpens iron. And iron sharpening iron doesn't mean man and man or woman and woman. It can be men and women ironing, being iron for each other because you both have what? The mindset of Christ, or you have the best interest of each other. You want the best. You strive for the best. You're praying for the best. We pray together every night, every morning, really at midnight. We pray every day. So you got to create things that will allow you to grow together and build something. One of the biggest issues I had with my, with a previous relationship is we couldn't build nothing. He would make a plan and cancel it. He would say for me to do something, I would do it, and he wouldn't show up. Or I would have my half, he wouldn't have his half. And it was never anything being established. When you are in a healthy relationship, you will both can agree to something and you can build it together, no matter what it is. If it's a relationship, if it's a financial goal, if it's a mental, spiritual, emotional goal, we go through cards to where we communicate all the time. And so I don't have the problem of he don't ever talk or he can't communicate. And if your husband cannot talk to you, you need to look at why he doesn't talk to you. Is it something he went through that has nothing to do with you? It's possible. Maybe he grew up that way. Maybe that's a learned behavior. Maybe he's afraid you will reject him if he told you how he really feels. Maybe he never could be honest with anyone else. But if you want him to be able to do that for you, you have to create the atmosphere. If you want a woman to be able to trust you, and there is nothing I haven't told my husband about my past. Absolutely nothing. There's stuff I told him I wouldn't tell nobody, and I have not told nobody. Okay, but I could tell him, and I told him early, because I wanted him to decide if I was the woman for him, and he did the same thing for me. And so I want to tell y'all, if you are afraid to lose someone and this is why you won't be honest, that is not the reason you should not be yourself. If you can't be yourself, where else are you going to be yourself? If you can't go home and say, honey, today was like this, like this, like this, and I feel some kind of way, and she can't be the person to hold your hand and say, baby, it's going to be all right. Don't worry about this. We're going to figure it out. We're going to pray together. We're going to work this thing out. Yes, it's scary. I know you're scared. I know you don't want to admit that, but that's okay. I'm here to what? Lift you up. I'm here to be your helpmeet. That's what we do as wives. That's what we do if you want a woman to be your wife. She's got to want to do that for you now. Not when you get married. That's late. You want her to prove that to you now, because if she don't feel like that about you now, why would you feel like that later? Because her true intention, she's showing you. The question is, are you watching? His true intentions about you is showing. If anything you ask him for, he won't do it. Hey, I don't want to have sex until we're married. I ain't gonna do that. Well, I don't want you really to talk to me like that. Well, that's just who I am. He don't respect you. Over. There ain't no reason for day 3. There ain't no reason for day 2. There ain't no reason to call him your boo. There ain't no reason. There ain't no reason. He hasn't earned that. Some of us are putting people in positions in our lives that didn't earn it. And that's why they're so easy to throw it away. It's not because you're not valuable. It's because they don't value you. It's not because you're not valuable. And so if someone is not willing to value you, then you need to decide what you want. You need to understand your value, so you are requiring in that. It's not optional. You got to stop making valuing you optional. It's not optional. It's a requirement. I don't want somebody that's going to cuss me out to love me or to talk to me. I want somebody that can talk to me, even if they don't agree with me. And you should be able to get that. That is healthy communication. That is not an anomaly. It should be normal. We need to stop making abnormal normal. We have grown up in toxic, family relationships, and so we assume that's just the way life is. It ain't the way life gotta stay, right? Hey, bountiful healing, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, but if this is the conversation, if you have been struggling, if you've been making some big mistakes that have cost you everything, there is time to turn it around, and you don't have to settle for this always. It's hurtful. This is why people are depressed. This is why suicide happens. Because people feel lonely even around people. Being around people don't mean you're not lonely. I know too many people that are lonely. And they got everybody. They got a husband, a wife, children. That doesn't stop that feeling. It doesn't stop that reality. What stops the reality is you not being able to honestly be your authentic self and somebody embrace you. And that just means they're not for you. And so the moment you realize they're not for you, don't repent for that. Don't try to like make them fit in a box when they're not that. Acknowledge they're not that. And be bold enough, get strong enough to say, Lord, I'm going to wait on you. Father, this man is not what I'm looking for. Or, Father, this job is not what I need. I need a job to pay more of my bills because this job is what? Sucking me dry. It takes all my energy, all my time, burns all my gas. I'm driving all around town. I can't rub two nickels together, but I feel burnt. I'm exhausted. And, I need to go back to school, but I ain't got the time. I need to figure this out, that out.
Make time.
I love something my husband told me. He said, Crystal, what you want, you'll make time for. And when he said that, I said, Lord, let me make time for this man. Because I told him all the things I didn't have time for. I said, I ain't got time to date nobody. I ain't got time to get to know you. I don't got time to figure out that you ain't what I'm looking for. I had all the things I was ready for him. But what I was not ready for was to meet I wasn't ready to meet what I was looking for the first day I saw him. Because the first day I saw him, I just thought he was nice, kind, loved his accent. And I told him that. And he said, yeah, everybody sounds like this in Texas. But it took me days to realize, whoa. And I didn't just settle for, a nice compliment. I had to go check. So y'all got to go check. Y'all got to go vet people. Ask them hard questions in the beginning. Make them uncomfortable. Hey, so what are you really looking for? Are you looking for a wife? Oh, whoa, that's so serious. I mean, why marriage so early? That means you're not looking. If the word scares you, you're not what I'm looking for if you want to get married. So that's not the guy. If talking about something you want with somebody makes them scared, if people are scared because you want to start a business and they're like, oh, you think you want to go accomplish your dreams? Why? Let's just be normal. Let's just sit on the couch and just live. Let's just baste in our ambiance. If that's not what you want, they're telling you in the beginning. Why? Hey, what part of Texas are you guys from? Houston is where I'll be moving to, y'all. So I'm excited to go to Houston. Yes, Miss Crystalista.
H-Town.
Yes, and Jacob's coming too. So we're excited. We're going to be moving this thing to Houston, y'all. So we're going to an audience of 4 million people live. So right now we're in Indianapolis, Indiana, though. But we are going to be moving. Man, I want to say next year, but the way things are going, I don't know.
July,
We say January, July, somewhere in between there, y'all. We'll be in Houston, okay? But right now we're in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we're so glad to be here. I do travel to Atlanta, New York, and Florida as well. So
be Atlanta like every other month.
no, every month I go to. It's like I'm in Atlanta. That's my first home. So I have an office in Atlanta, an office in Indianapolis, and I'm starting an office in Houston. At least by January to July of next year. So I'm really excited about that, y'all. But look, yeah. So yeah, so if y'all love this book club, be sure to follow me, y'all, and I will definitely be back in this book on Monday of next week, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern on TikTok. Everywhere else, it's 7:30 p.m. at least I start, so it's a good hour if you're on other platforms. But yeah, there's so much I want to share with y'all. This book, I haven't even gotten deep into chapter 1. Okay, this is why I tell y'all to get the book, because it's so much in here that I can't get out in this live. But I want you to get it. I really, really do. Okay, there are 5 of these in my TikTok shop, so they do come to you signed. You're going to use this every Monday with me, and I want you to read it even when you're not here. And I'm going to talk you through this book. If you can't get it or you don't want to buy it, that's fine. All right. That's not what this is for. This is about having a safe space for you to be able to communicate your thoughts, talk about what you're going through, what you want to accomplish. And then my job is to coach you through some of those things. I am a certified transformational coach, ordained chaplain, ordained minister. I've been launching businesses, writing, publishing books. I have 49 of my own. Jacob is publishing his first book come December of this year.
Yes,
and exciting. And I'm working with many more authors currently to publish their books as well. I think I'm putting out, like 40 books. It's something crazy, y'all. I think I'm approaching 50 books for others, another 15 for ghostwriting, and I have 49. And I'm also hoping Jacob, which I haven't even included in the numbers. So there's a lot going on. So if you want to write publish your book, send me a DM and I'll help you too, or launch your business. I can help you do that too. I want to make sure I do send you guys off with a wonderful salutation until next time. We do this every Monday from 7 p.m. Eastern on TikTok, and then on other platforms at least by 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here for the Growing Book Club. So yes, so be sure to like, share, follow, all that jazz. You can use the QR codes if you are on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, and all those places. Facebook, I'll have to repost it. But I love y'all. Y'all can use the QR codes to access the books. The digital copies of my books are $10, but you do have to go to my website to get them. So if you need that on TikTok, send me a DM and I'll send you the link if you want to get the digital copy for $10. All right. With that being said, I'm going to give y'all a good prayer and I'm going to send you guys off on a great week. And I look forward to seeing y'all again next week, where we're going to continue the conversation on the biggest mistake can cost you everything. So I am going to try to start at 7 o'clock on all platforms so that I can catch you up in the Book of Kings. Okay? Because like I said, I didn't get a chance to even talk about the second chapter in the book or in that section. We only got through a few pages. So get the book, y'all, if y'all can, because it is, I'm telling you, it's a really good read. All right? Um, yeah, so Father, we just thank you for everybody that's been on this live that has checked in and will check in even after the live is over. Thank you for those that have liked, shared, followed, and will support this book. And it's not about the money, Father. It's about the purpose that you've given me to write this book, to pour into the lives of your people all around the world. May they all get this book and it bless them and their families and their businesses, their finances, their romance, their marriages, their singleness. I pray, Father, you encourage them in the ways that they should go. Father, you say you will keep us in all of our ways so that we can be focused on you and live according to your purpose and will for our lives. Show us your purpose, show us our purpose, so we know why we were put on earth, so that we don't depart from it, so that we will buckle down and say, Lord, I'm gonna give it my all this time. I'm gonna lean and put it all on the table. Father, I'm not afraid to ask you for what I can have faith for. So I pray, Father, you increase our faith if our faith is too low, if our beliefs of ourselves is too low, if our value is too low. Father, show us who we are. Show us who we are in you. Show us who you birthed us to be here on earth. And may we continue to hold other people to that standard as well. Until we meet again, Father, keep us, keep our children and family. In the mighty name of your Son, Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, we say hallelujah, and so be it. May y'all all be blessed. Thank y'all so much for those that have supported this book, that will grab this book, and will share it with your friends and family. I thank y'all. Thank y'all for the hearts. Y'all know I love y'all. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I definitely look forward to seeing you guys next Monday, okay? So until then, bye-bye for now. All right? Bye bye. I love y'all. We'll see y'all next week.